pick some stuff up afterward. Who is mad about a thing? You shouldn't be mad at that thing for the reasons that you're mad at that thing for, because that's not what the thing is. And I'll elaborate more on that in a bit. We're gonna do. I think we'll just do 5 minutes today. It's not the Friday stream. It's not the real one. It's just sort of spur of the moment with half-hour notice. Just be like, hey, if you have questions. So I'm gonna say hi to all of you. Hold on. Sorry. Just say hi. This is gonna be a chill stream. Don't know how long it's gonna go for. I just want to answer some questions. It's gonna be a lot of it's gonna be led by you in the chat. I'm gonna start at 5 minutes though, for all of that. So hold on, folks. Hold on. Hi, folks. Hi, everyone. Hello. 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 How's it going? Hello. Hi. Now, someone asked, are the gloves coming off? I don't know if that was from reference to me in the chat. We're gonna try to keep it pretty chill. I'm not trying to ruin anybody. I'm gonna call some people out. But we're going to do it very nicely, because apparently there are individuals out there who are upset about this, that respond very poorly to information that they are in fact wrong, and so I'm going to try to break it to them very gently. Hopefully they show up. We'll see. If we see, let me know in the chat, folks, if we see, what's the name I'm looking for? Hold on, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it, folks. It's gonna happen. Why is everything blue now? I don't know what's going on. It's fine. I don't know why it did. Well, I'll look into that. Yes, his name is Wolfgar the Barbarian, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. So we see him in the chat. Let me know, because I assume he. I'm gonna assume he, based on the profile picture. Guy's got a lot of questions and seems to be very unable to receive a response, if that makes sense. We'll probably go over that at some point. But I'll give you the disclaimer for today. Not doing any apple juice today because it's Tuesday. I only try to do that on Friday. So that's not going to be a disclaimer. But disclaimer, the first 5 minutes, in this case, me rambling, usually it's 10, but today it's 5. And after that, it's going to be continued rambling. This is going to be a very unstructured stream. It's going to be, what are your questions? How can I help you understand them? And we can sort of just address things live so I can give you a better explanation. Let me move this kind of on my way a little bit there. That's fine, whatever. We'll just work with it. So, Aaron, I'm only a little colorblind. And I think... So part of the problem is this monitor has a different sort of color gradient, I guess, than this, and I really should fix it, but I don't really care. So, yeah, that might be the primary problem. The thing we're referencing is I said the FBI header was red. Apparently, it's more of a brown. I am slightly red-green colorblind, just a little bit. And so I was like, that's not like a real strong red, but it looks more red. It looks kind of red to me, and I guess it isn't. But that's fine. Maybe it's you who are colorblind. I don't know. Did I see the video of the civil rights lawyer of a private SWAT team from a hotel bothering a hotel guest? No, but that sounds very fun. I'm gonna someone hit me up with that link at some point. Maybe not for today, but like that sounds like a good time for sure. Anyway, Maroon's it, yeah. So. Are we at 5? No, we're almost at 5. That's fine. Give me 1 second. And we're just going to finish setting up. One more thing real quick. Sorry, I'm in the middle of... There's a thing. Hey, there it is. I forgot I moved that. Now let me start this up. There we go. All right. Thanks so much, Mav. Is this no apple juice? What's sad face? Maybe at some point I'll do one. No, I shouldn't. No. I figured out what was wrong. Okay, we're at 5 minutes. I'll finish this thought. Figured out what was wrong on Friday is I hadn't really eaten that day. So my allergies really kicked in something fierce. And that was a problem. So I'm going to try not to do that again. It is a Tuesday night. It is night. The sipping glass isn't... Okay, maybe at some point I'll get like a little sipping glass. We're not straight shooting it, but thank you so much. All right, let's get into the content. What happened was there's a guy named Mike Glover. Mike Glover was a Green Beret. I believe he served for around 20 years. He then did some contract work, basically continuing to be a soldier, but as a civilian. Might be wrong about this. All of this might be wrong. I don't have it in front of me. I don't like to state things as fact generally that I'm not like already very familiar with, unless I have it in front of me, but I don't. But he has military experience, a lot of military experience, and he started a channel called Fieldcraft Survival, which seems like a fine channel. I had zero problem with it. I never really paid attention to it. I think it's popped up a couple times. I never watched it. It was just never, like, I like Fieldcraft, but it never was something that I was like, that was what I was going to watch right then. But it was always like, oh, maybe one day I'll check it out. And then he had this video, I am not a terrorist. I went, whoa, that seems like a good thing to watch. And so he's like, oh, man, I was called out by the FBI. And he wasn't. So things I addressed in my video about this situation was, first of all, the information is coming. Which one of you did this? How dare you jerk? I'll get to that in a second. Thank you so much. Anonymous stranger that I haven't looked yet. I saw it, though. But anyway, rambling. So what happened was he's like, oh, Project Veritas has released this memo. They got information. It was leaked to them. I was like, whoa, Project Veritas. They have a bit of a history. And I'm going to stand by that statement. They're very controversial. And if anything comes from Project Veritas, and I need to use it to, how do I want to phrase this? Because they like to be very litigious. If there's information I'm receiving from Project Veritas, I would generally do a lot of fact checking to get the full story. Because in my experience, and apparently in the experience of many other people, some of whom are other news sources, the information that comes from Project Veritas might, being cautious, might have facts, context that is left out that is actually pretty relevant to the story. And you know how much I love context. I love context. Context is super important. I bring it up all the time. So Project Veritas, to me, not going to be my first stop when it comes to knowledge. So when I see, there was a whistleblower. Well, there are allegations that some of their previous whistleblowers have not been the whistleblowers that Project Veritas has claimed them to be, which I brought up in the video. So I was like, okay. And then I sort of danced a little bit on their whole thing and had a bit of fun with it. And I stand by that. I can have my opinion, free speech and whatnot. Cool. I'm allowed to be like, I don't really care for the manner in which this is done. But then I was like, look, even though I'm sort of being like, oh, Project Veritas, it doesn't change the fact that there is this memo, right? Whether or not it's real. If this memo is real, what is it actually saying? Is it actually saying that Mike Glover's a terrorist? No. Is it actually saying that the group that Mike Glover's created, which is American Contingency, separate from the Fieldcraft thing, that was just the channel in which his video appeared, no, it's not saying that American Contingency or Mike Glover are terrorists, which he seems confused about in his video. I didn't watch the whole thing. I got to like a certain point when, let me Google this, and went down this whole rabbit hole, wrote something like 6 pages of the script when I should probably stop. I think I opened up his transcript to skim it, to be like, did he like retract the statement? And at the end of my video, I was like, look, maybe I missed something. Please let me know. So far, nobody has let me know. No. It is. That's the word. So that's where that's at. So I called him out for misreading that memo. And then I called him out for being confused as to why extremists might self-identify, because that was the whole thing. It's the FBI was like, look, extremists might self-identify with this group. The group isn't the problem. It's that there are people that might think that they are aligned with it, despite the fact that they're probably not. There's a good chance they're not. And Mike Glover likes to be like, we vet people. We don't discriminate based on whatever. Like, we're a chill place for the community, basically to learn how to protect yourself in times of political turmoil, civil unrest, that sort of thing. And so he started all this around 2020, which is when I was actually covering a lot of the protest stuff here in Seattle and going, what are you doing, left? Like, why are you being so dumb about this? And for some reason, people forgot that I did that, I guess, because they're like, oh, you're such a leftist. Like, no, it's okay. I try to stay pretty central. But that's neither here nor there. Literally. So I then called him out for being like, look, 2 years ago, you were posting some pretty intense stuff about, like, Islamo, global fascism, Marxism, New World Order. There was this document that he's like, it's mandatory reading, which was written by a guy who is, I believe, kicked out of the Pentagon for being too extreme. That was like, whenever the left claims something is racist. And I'm very much paraphrasing. This is not an exact quote and might not align exactly with what the message was. But it seemed to me, reading it, that he was basically saying, when the left claims something is racist, that's Marxism. It's a global plot or something. It was a lot of insanity. Oh my God. So, yeah, it was a thing. So yeah, so that's people got mad. Not as many as I thought. I thought there would be a lot more people going and there was a lot of that, but it's mostly from one guy. There were a couple of people that were sort of long-term members of the channel that disliked what I had to say, and so they left, and that's fine. Like, okay, yeah, if it's not for you, it's not for you. I tell people all the time, if you want to leave, you can, right? If it's not for you, I just put it out into the world. If you want to consume it, you can consume it. If you don't, it's fine. Nothing against them. I wish that they had opened their minds a little bit about it and been like, hey, oh gosh, you're saying some reasonable things here. I don't like it, but maybe I should, review the things that are being said in the context of facts. I don't know. It's a whole thing. But that's basically what that video was. What are your questions about it, if you have any? I will scroll through the chat. I'll get to what I can. I can't promise I will address everything. Or see everything, because scrolling through. Aaron asks, does anyone else think that Project Veritas is ironically named? I mean, it's a good name. It's a good sounding name, but yeah, sometimes their truth is not as truthful as it could be. I can stand by that statement. Yeah, being careful, because they like to sue media, or maybe not sue media. Well, they do sue media. They have sued media. They love to collect retractions. That's what they do. I haven't decided if I want to be on their wall of shame yet. Although I feel like being on their wall of shame may not be all that shameful. Could be wrong about that. I don't know. I don't know if you noticed. I don't really care for them. That's my personal opinion, though. Personal opinion. Aaron points out people identify with a name. Exactly what happened with BLM, so it isn't exclusive to the right or left. Yes, and that's something I want to bring up absolutely. And people are like, oh, you're just saying, like, but the other side, but what about it? I'm not trying to do whataboutism, but I'm saying a lot of the arguments that I'm seeing, both from Mike and from some people in my comments, aren't exclusive to any one side. They're like, oh, well, the left does this. Oh, well, this. Yeah, well, it's a political strategy that is well used by everybody. And I disagree with a lot of the political strategies that are used, which is to attack the other side in order to gain an advantage. And so there was that online thing that Mike was like, it's mandatory reading, which was this guy saying, like, the left is trying to break down the identity of the right by calling them racist. Like, but you're literally doing that to the left by saying that they're trying to break down you. Like, you're literally doing the thing, just wrapped up in a different parcel. You gotta observe and be like, oh, cool. And I'm not saying it's right for one side to do it and one side not to do it or whatever, and saying like, well, we're justified because you do it. No. Nobody should be doing it. And it's not that I'm saying like, oh, you can't call me out because you're doing this, or I can't call you out because whatever. It's, if you're going to make the argument that a specific group, like, oh, well, we are correct because that group is doing it, I'm going to call you out for not recognizing it within your own organization if it exists. And between the left side of politics and the right side of politics, it exists. Oh, boy, does it exist. It's just different parcels. So to some people, if you align with the political side, your parcel is, you're used to it. It's very familiar to you. You don't think of it that way. But to someone on the outside, it's going to be a lot easier to notice. which is why a lot of the sides are like, well, us, what are you talking about? You just don't, you haven't noticed. It's a thing. Another thing that was brought up, the Gadsden flag, something that was addressed. The Gadsden flag is the Don't Tread on Me flags, yellow with the coiled rattlesnake or whatever. Very old flag, used in the Revolutionary War, I think, pretty confident. And so people are like, how could that be a symbol of extremism? Well, it's not. And the FBI memo says that it's not. It says that extremists have adopted it, so extremists are using it. Even in my video, when I was like, I've seen extremists using these symbols, whatever, I showed the Gadsden flag very clearly in these extremist groups. Well, that doesn't mean extremist symbol. No, and nobody's saying that it is. The FBI's not saying that it is. They're saying that extremist groups sometimes use them. And they say the mere use of this doesn't indicate extremism on its own, more or less, paraphrasing. So it's just like, what are you talking about? But when it comes to the Gadsden flag, people are upset. Like, oh, well, I'm not allowed to fly this. I'm not, like, what's the one with the cannon on it? It's Texas related. Someone's complaining about that. And I was like, bruh, I don't use anything. Well, I mean, this is kind of close, but I don't have decals. I don't have flags. I don't have anything that's thin blue line related. This is probably the closest I come to that. And that's more for my own amusement. Because in 2020, when I was observing the activities in Seattle and being like, wow, what is happening? And documenting it and filming it and talking about it, I saw a lot of people that were very angry, often doing counter protests, waving that thin blue line flag. And I was like, don't like that. So I saw quite a few people with the thin blue line doing things that I cannot agree with and hopefully never will. So I understand, and I don't like it. I understand what the original meaning of the thin blue line is. I don't like that it has been adopted by these groups, but I don't associate with it more than a very minimal amount because they have done that. And sometimes I'll call people out for being like, the blue line is blah, because that's not true. But I'm not going to stop them from being like, oh, extremist organizations have adopted it, because you're technically right. Doesn't mean that the symbol itself is extremism, but I'm going to hold off on using it because I'm not an idiot. But I'm going to go back to the comments, see what else we got. All right, let me super chat. I'm sorry, super chat. Linda, thanks so much. That was very generous of you. Thanks so much. And Teresa Wilson, thank you so much as well. You guys sending me stickers? You guys, look at you. Where's Teresa's? No, Teresa. Oh, there's Teresa's. Hi, Teresa. Sorry. Teresa, I'll say it again. What are your questions? Megan, great point. Just like a swastika. I actually almost brought it up in my video, but it's like, that's too much. Swastika is like the like sign of peace in various organizations. I actually have a patch. I don't know if it's an original, but there was a unit, World War II, maybe just before World War II, had a swastika on their patch. It was an American unit. I think it might have been a Native American unit, or like based in, somehow related to Native Americans. But it was used as a Native American symbol, unless I'm incorrect. People generally don't use it anymore because it's really hard to explain. Wait, hold on. Oh, wait. No, I'm not a Nazi. I'm not a neo-Nazi. This is the symbol of peace, because that's not what it's associated with anymore, unfortunately. So it's a thing. Buddhist, that's what it was. I was thinking Tibetan. So I'm thinking Tibetan Buddhist, but I was like, that's not correct. Thank you. Yes. Punisher logo. Yes. Screw it. My unit, the coins, the challenge coins that they issued had a Punisher logo on it. And I was like, I don't know. Even then, before it was like widely used, I was kind of like, isn't the Punisher someone who like kills people outside of the law? Even in the comics, he tells police, don't wear my symbol, don't do what I do. So like, maybe we shouldn't have the Punisher logo on our stuff, especially when we're not like in a wartime environment situation. There's a word for that. I don't know. Like, it seems like a bad idea. There's the come and take it thing with the like Mullen Abe or whatever it is. That started to be adopted as well. My platoon sergeant had a lot of gear with that on it, and it's just like, okay. There are a lot of symbols that are being adopted into extremist groups, And I think a lot of that is because a lot of military members brought those symbols from the military into those groups. And I don't think a lot of those members of the military realize that they've become part of an extremist group, or they say, I'm part of this group because the government is blah. And there are a lot of issues with a lot of the divides we have in America that are based on a lot of things. But there are certainly a lot of people that are failing to realize that they are sliding past a point where they should have definitely stopped. So, yeah, that's the whole thing. Yeah, James K asked, Punisher is bad now. It can be. It's okay. So the Punisher symbol is not bad. However, it has started popping up on in places where you probably wouldn't want to be in maybe the same alley as the individuals wearing it. So it's not. Look, again, none of these symbols. And the FBI, if this document is correct, the FBI even said, hey, these symbols are not on their own indicators of extremism. Many of them are used for their original historical purpose. Many of those purposes are nonviolent. So that's not how that works. And it is not how it works. When I did investigations, we got memos like this. Like, hey, some gangs will flash these signs. They'll wear this stuff. This is not an indicator that they are in a gang, but it's good to have this information. It's good to have this knowledge. And I brought that up in my video, like, bandana colors. There are parts of the country where you cannot wear certain bandana colors without unnecessarily involving yourself in a dangerous situation. That does not mean bandanas are terrorist garb. That's ridiculous. But sometimes it's an identifier in certain situations. It's a whole thing. Yeah, David says it's all about context. Absolutely. And the problem is, from what I saw of Mike's video, he did not take it in context. And I can understand that. I'm not trying to attack him. I'm trying to correct him. I'd like to see him renounce some of the things that he said, because, whoo boy. And I'd like to see him acknowledge that he made a mistake. And then, all right, cool. You know, I love giving second chances. That's all right. But I think he failed to understand the context because of a reasonable, strong emotional response to this situation. So, unfortunately, I don't know if he's going to double down or if he's going to start calming down. So, Sean Hawkins says, evidently when I was growing up, I was a blood. Well, you survived. That's good. Oh, yeah, Cindy, Norse religions. Glad you brought that up. There are a lot of Norse symbols that white supremacists use because they associate, I guess, a lot of Norse stuff with symbols of white power. So there's a choice that some people make. Do they want to wear the symbol and take that symbol from the extremists? Or do they want to acknowledge that maybe people are going to look at them funny if they wear some of those symbols? Right? It's not a guarantee of white supremacy by any means. But the odds of a person with a Norse tattoo being a white supremacist is, I would guess, higher, opinion, than a person with a couple cherries on their ankles. Just a thought. Purple bandana, you're just having a good time. That's what that means. All right. Apple juice. I'll do some, just a sip, and because I want to try this out. All right, how good was that, though? I had fun with that. I made it about 5 minutes before I started the stream because I was like, oh, that seems like a good idea. Who's Mike Glover? Yeah, okay, so Mike Glover, former Green Beret, was a contractor. He has a YouTube channel called Fieldcraft Survival, and he runs an organization called American Contingency. And the idea of American Contingency is, look, in times of civil unrest, turbulent political whatever, sometimes the government can't get to you, can't help you, so let's train you to be able to help yourself, basically, which I think is a great idea. The problem is there's an FBI memo that lists his organization as an organization that some extremists might self-identify with, which is not his fault, necessarily. It's just that some people have assigned themselves to him without maybe his input. It sucks. The other thing is he's made some very concerning posts about like why he started American Contingency, which may not be the continued sort of mission statement, but he did make this statement, which would be very compelling, I would imagine, to extremists, basically saying we have to take back our country from Islamo-fascists, and Islamo-fascists can be identified, and I'm taking a bunch of his stuff and mashing it together in a way that may not be 100% accurate. But basically, he's, look, the left is promoting some Islamo-fascist, Marxist, global New World Order plot, and we have to be ready to stop that when it goes live, basically. And so that may not be an accurate representation of all the things he said. However, a person who feels the same way, who may be an extremist, might align themselves with that and go, I've also interpreted it this way. He's also put out some stuff. He's promoted to a degree, the idea of the election either being stolen or being I don't know if he promoted election stealing after the election, but before the election, I believe he did point out, like, hey, just a heads up, there may be some issues with elections being stolen or like votes being illegally, whatever. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that before the election. There were a lot of organizations, and I'm not saying Mike started it. I think maybe he got caught up in it. But there's a lot of push to delegitimize the election certification before the election even happened, so that when they did, it would appear, so that when they did claim that the election was not valid, there was already a foundation of support for them to try to claim that. That's what the evidence is showing now. That may change in the future. I'm not saying that as fact. I'm saying that this is something that can certainly be construed from the facts that exist. So yes, he would appeal to extremists, especially a Green Beret, teaching people how to deal with civil unrest. You think the Proud Boys wouldn't love that? Hey, we love going, well, okay, again, putting words in their mouths. But the Proud Boys have, or certain members have certainly stated that they enjoy, I believe, going to protests, Boogaloo Boys as well. There is an interest, it would appear, in causing trouble and reacting to protests, legitimate or not. And so I can imagine that the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys, certain members anyway, would be very interested in learning how to engage with civil unrest from a Green Beret. I mean, how could you not love that as one of those members? Even I'm interested, not to go attack a protest, but I'd love to learn some self-defense from a Green Beret and some first aid. Like, I got some good first aid, I got some good self-defense, but I don't think that I am unable to learn, you know? Oath Keepers as well. Oath Keepers have, certain Oath Keepers are an issue. I'm not saying all Oath Keepers. I'm not saying all 3%ers, but there are certain parts of the country where the Oath Keepers and 3%ers, which I'm bringing it up, I don't think the chat brought up, they may have. I'm not trying to put words in anyone's mouths here. I'm trying to be very careful and nice about what I'm saying. They have some issues in parts of the country. Now, BLM has issues in parts of the country. Antifa, whichever you prefer, issues in a lot of the country. Not all Antifa, I don't know. There's like two ways of pronouncing it, and I don't know which one it is. Some of them are... It's similar to like the flag, right? Now, I generally say I don't support them, and I don't, for the most part. Not all of them are violent. There are groups that are, not all of them. And it's sort of like, well, just because they are doesn't mean we are. Got it. But we're being fair. So, yeah, the left has their extremist groups. The right has their extremist groups. I called the left out in 2020. Now I've got this guy being a hypocrite, and I'm calling him out for that. I don't see a problem with that. If you're wrong, and you're being dangerously wrong, potentially, I'm going to call you out. I don't have to be like, but also, look at this guy. No, I'm going to call you out for you. So, Antifa? Now someone else is saying Antifa. Oh, even the chat can't decide. See? It's a problem. Not like it's a problem, but it's just like, see where I'm getting at. The Proud Boys, Boogaloo Boys, the Hawaiian shirts, I believe. Could be wrong. Don't quote me on this. I'm just trying to answer questions as best I can. Hopefully that helps, even though I'm saying don't trust me on it. David says, as with any organization, you'll always have undesirable individuals. Yes. And it's weird to me that an organization would not recognize that. Right? Like, even in the military. Yeah, we got some bad people in the military. We try to get them out. Some people continue to self-identify with the military. So, anyway, I'm gonna get a dice, die, and just roll it. And whichever way I roll, it's gonna be. Oh, I have a coin flip. Antifa or Antifa? All right. Antifa, Antifa. I've already forgotten. Antifa, Antifa. All right, today I'm going to say Antifa. Now we know. Who's pro-fascist? Well, all of them. No, that really depends. It depends on actually how you define fascism, because the definition is not... Because I tried to do this in the past. It's not as solid as one might think. It's... So fascism is a far-right, authoritarian, this is according to Wikipedia, authoritarian, ultranationalist political ideology, philosophy, and movement characterized by dictatorial leadership, centralized autocracy, militarism, forcible suppression of something, something, something. And in that definition, that would be, right-wing groups would appear to be more aligned with that, but there were certainly left-wing groups that claimed they were against that while meeting a lot of elements. I think we talked about that a year or two ago, where there's a group in Portland that was like, haha, we're not fascists, as fascists is defined by this. And they're like, you mean all of those elements. What are you talking about? They got mad. They got very mad. So, yeah, I haven't sipped this at all. Darcy Vanberg says, how about we talk about whether or not the relationship, can't speak, I'm going too fast, relationship between Kermit and Piggy is unnatural. I say no, because they're both Muppets. They're both Muppets. That's called a spoonerism, I believe. Opinions. Neither of them have genitals, so they can do what they want. That's my opinion. Yeah, Diamond, I appreciate you saying that. If you want to hit the like button, I'm not going to stop you. I really appreciate it. Archangel says, I saw a local cop wearing a Hawaiian shirt the other day. I said, sup, Magnum P.I. He was so young he didn't get it. That made me laugh even harder. How? I don't care if you're young. Didn't they reboot it? No. I think Hawaii 5-0. I don't know. I haven't really watched much Magnum P.I. at all. I still know it. Maybe I'm just old now. I don't know. People keep asking me, and Johnny Boy says, Johnny Boy 13 Scotland, of course, says, is this the Scottish flag on my buzzer? I mean, technically it is the Scottish flag. It's not supposed to be. It's just, it's like what's the TV show where they have these buzzers? It just happens to be. Not intentional. Thomas says, I'm an extremist. I believe in family first. Hey, I appreciate that. As long as you understand that if your family members are telling you the earth is flat, maybe address that. Magnum. Okay, Magnum PI was rebooted. Gotcha. Okay, excellent. Peter Lemire says, Blue Bacon, I wouldn't wonder, let me actually read it. I wonder if Moorish Americans would be allowed to join this guy's organization. Well, he vets them. He checks the members. I would hope to avoid extremism. And Moorish people tend to be pretty about providing identification. Because they say no. I guess. I don't know. But, oh no, hold on. Rennie's messaging me. I gotta respond. Anywho, what do you do with Kermit's legs? Is it to keep him from escaping? Kermit, do you have legs? No, that's where your hand goes. He doesn't have legs. What about sovereign citizens? Same thing. Moorish American sovereign citizens, surprisingly similar. A lot of the same arguments. It just comes from a different foundation. Sovereign citizens actually tend to be a little closer to reality. Still very much attached. But if I had to be like, all right, which one's going to get into this group? Moorish American sovereign citizens. Sovereign citizens. I'm not saying they are members, but I think they'd be more likely to get in. I would hope they wouldn't, potentially. Well, it depends on how they are. I've told you guys before, my plumber is a sovereign citizen. Really great guy. Not as knowledgeable as he thinks about law and government at all. Doesn't learn very well. A lot of fun to have a burger with, though. Really fun to have a talk with. But, yeah, Moorish Americans, there's some insanity there. What am I drinking? Apple juice. just apple juice. It's not good for pounding, but it's actually not bad for sipping. Phoenix! Ah, I'm so sorry. Ah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Wait. Oh, no. Sorry, Phoenix. That's on me. I apologize. Phoenix, I'm going to say your name again, Phoenix. I hope that makes it up to you. It says, this topic is like walking through a minefield wearing high heels. Here's money for a metal detector. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just trying not to... The problem is if I come at this too hard, and maybe I went a little too hard when I made the video, I had a really bad headache. Now it's just kind of getting mad. It's the monitor that I used behind my camera wasn't working for like an hour, and I was already so mad when I made the video. The script was already there, but like I got it kind of loud. And it's hard to tell someone that maybe they need to address an issue like that. You know, generally you have to have a more personal connection. And I had it in the script where I was like, oh, we probably have a lot in common. And then I sort of ended it there. I just was like, nope, I'm mad about this again. Steven, thank you so much, says, you're supposed to cook the whole frog, not just the legs. I'll take your word for it. I'm not French, though. I do not eat frog. Blah. Maybe. I hear it's good, though. And Charlie Girl, thank you so much. In an interest of keeping this less political than it needs to be, I won't read it, but I'll leave it. I will say this. I haven't cared for... Am I allowed to say that? It's National Guard? I'll say this. Trump did not perform as well as I had hoped. Neither has Biden. I can leave it at that. Yeah. Yep. That'll do it. That's what I'm saying about that. I try to leave politics out and just sort of be like, oh, look, here's the thing. I get it. You want to protest? Cool. You have a thing that you're protesting. I've said this before. Who am I to tell you if it's right or wrong? Generally. If you want to protest lawfully, cool. Maybe I'll have some issues with a couple minor things, whatever. It's generally what upsets me is people being hypocrites. People just being like incredibly stupid. When it was 2020, it was like You guys know you're breaking the law. And then you're like upset that the police are arresting you for it? What's wrong with you? Why? Like, I get in the heat of the moment if you do a thing without thinking that it's going to have the repercussions. I get it. But then, like, a week later when you're going, they were wrong for stopping me from trying to burn down a courthouse. No, you're an idiot. And similarly, if you are storming the Capitol of the United States because you believed a lie, you're also an idiot. Couple examples. And for those of you who don't know, I was one of the National Guardsmen who was sent to Washington, D.C. I specifically asked to be on the list of people to choose from. My name got chosen, and I went because I believe in protecting democracy, not ending it. And I know you could be like, the left is trying to end democracy by, like, having no government. You could make that argument. There's certain people on the left that would love that, I'm sure. And you could similarly say the right is trying to end the government because they stormed the Capitol to stop the certification of an election. Now, that's not every person on the right. That's not every person on the left. But there are extremists extremists are bad on any side who take things a little far. And I'm not... sorry, I just saw a chat. I have to read. So I caught part of it. I forget what I was saying. I'm just going to read that chat. The Canadian QAnon trying to arrest police officers? Oh, no. No, that's very interesting. I want to, though. QAnon. Oh, my God. QAnon's insanity. And it's really interesting. I had been reading reports on this, and it's like, wow, it's really, really effective in, like, the Bible Belt. And there was speculation this was because people who are taught to believe in a higher power without evidence are potentially more prone to being drawn into the QAnon conspiracy because it's a higher power, no evidence. There are a lot of similarities. Now, I'm not an expert. These are just people pointing things out and being like, isn't this interesting? And I thought it very much was. So QAnon...
Thank you for your service, Blue.
Oh, thank you. I'll get to that in a second. Thank you so much. It's a thing. I'm very much against the whole QAnon thing. If anyone wants to know what my stance on that is. But, oh. Logan, which one? I'm curious. I'm not trying to be like, I like to hear. I like to know. What PP for president? I don't know about that. I've been tempted to run for local office. I don't know. I don't know. The problem is I don't want to lose the anonymity that I have. I really like just being me. Just doing my own thing without that public pressure. The moment I run for office, all that goes away. And it's not so much me, it's my family. But they don't want that. I've made some people angry. I make all sides angry with my reasonableness. Nope, wasn't me. He says, what do you think about Long Island audit slate's case getting dismissed? I don't know if I remember which case that is. But I do love to read some stuff. Gosh, what?
That's not a firearm, Sergeant.
Which one of you did it?
Sergeant.
There's a Canadian QAnon lady that believes people are making CRISPR super soldiers out of Filipinos and white rappers. Yes, white rappers specifically.
Well, obviously white rappers. Have you listened to Eminem, Rap God? Whew! It's incredible. Only a super soldier made with CRISPR could do that. Yeah, QAnon people are nuts. Thank you so much. I'll get to that. I'm trying to find the thing that I saw, and I've forgotten what it was. Is it farther up? The Forgiven Cherry. Got it. All right, sorry. All right, I read it. Charlie Girl, thank you so much. Thank you. Hey, I appreciate it. serving doesn't make you a hero. Being a hero makes you a hero. I appreciate your support. That doesn't make me a good person. I like to think my actions make me a good person, not the signature I put on a piece of paper. In case anyone's wondering. Oh, I'm just going to piss some people off tonight. Like, no, I'm a hero. No, you're 18. You fell for it. I'm just kidding. Look, I love my time in the military. I loved being in the military. I very much benefited from it. There's a lot of brainwashing in parts of the country about military. See, now I just sound like an ass. Like, oh, just accept the compliment. Like, I'm on a roll of just being like, let me be super neutral about stuff. No, thank you so much. I'm just being an idiot right now. Iceblade, thank you so much for being a member of the Bacon Bits. That's right. And also, Face, you crazy kid, you. Thank you so much. Now, someone asked if we... Darcy. Someone asked if we could change the subject. You guys want to go over some of the comments I got? Do we? I don't know. It's just... The reason I was like, oh, I don't know, like my military service, is I've been kind of disappointed with some of the people in the military recently, what I've seen. Having been out, right? Like the loudest ones are sometimes the worst. If I was back in, I'd probably feel very differently. I'd be like, yeah, I'm just surrounded by people. Like, these are good people. But I like to put a little bit of distance for right now. Because I don't want to use my military service necessarily to try to draw people in. If there is something that I'm an expert on because of my military service, great. But it's just... I'm just looking at the world and going, we need to stop. Stop being at each other's throats. Am I partially to blame for that? Yeah. But I try to present facts. I really do. All right, comments. It's a shame the guy I was hoping would show up didn't show up. Some of you in this chat are going to be in these comments. Let's see. I'm trying to find a good starting point. All right. Rick Reed says, like most sob sits, if I could actually speak, like most sob sits and guys like this, they want to feel persecuted and hunted, as if they are Robin Hood or something. They cannot stand finding out that they are considered unimportant, which is actually a really interesting way to think about that. I really like that. And it might explain why Mike was like, I'm a victim. Yeah, snowflake. I say it with love. Yeah, it's weird because you can read the document and know that that's not what's happening. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna steal this comment for future arguments because it's a great comment. And Hoot goes, this guy's in the sob sit. He's also not a militia guy. He's not trying to feel important. He's stating facts. And I was like, what are we talking about? Me, him, them, what? Later comment indicated that he was in fact talking about Mike Glover, saying Mike Glover's not a sovereign citizen. No. Nobody said he was. They said, like most sob sits and guys like this. Doesn't say he's a sovereign citizen, but Mike gets confused about what is or is not a label. So I'm not shocked that people defending him would also be. I'm not saying that they're bad people. I'm just saying that be better. If you saw what he said and you read the memo and you couldn't figure it out, be better. He's not a militia guy. All right, Rick Reed is not saying he's a militia guy. Hoot is trying to make an argument about that. So American Contingency is not officially a militia. It's kind of almost a militia. And they're not defined. Well, okay, so they're not really a militia, but they easily could be. And the FBI is not saying they're a militia. Well, not an extremist militia anyway. It's a whole thing. Like, cool, that's not relevant to this exact conversation. It's weird. People keep doing that. It's really annoying. He's not trying to feel important. He's stating facts. Well, he's stating things that are not facts. They're actually incorrect. So, no. It was a good try. Appreciate it. But no. Let me get to another one. There's a guy I want to give you like the first interaction with him. Is it at the bottom? I'm in my my YouTube studio thing because for some reason some comments are not showing up on my page but are showing up here, and I don't know why. I've checked my held for review page, which we can definitely look at in a bit. Where is okay, so Wolfgar the Barbarian. Let's give him a voice. Hold on. Yeah, that'll work.
Some terrorists self-identify as listeners of Blue Bacon. Really think about how you would feel about this statement.
I said, well, I'm sure they'll get mad at me for presenting well-articulated arguments and leave soon enough. Although I do hope some stay and learn, so they can realize the error of their ways. It didn't go the way you wanted it to, did it? Because look, maybe I do have some extremists in here, but I hope A, they learn, or B, they go away. I don't want extremists, but I would like to help extremists not be extremists, if that's an option. Not the Chille voice?
How about this one? Okay.
That'll work. Wolfgar responds.
Well, I wanted you to think from a different perspective. So no, I guess.
Oh, well, because I absolutely wrecked you, you're like, nope, doesn't count. Like, bruh, I saw it from the other perspective, and I went, this is how I would handle it. You're wrong, but good job.
Are you prone to feminine emotions?
That is a fallacy. That is completely unrelated.
Or just strangely emotionally attached to your political beliefs on your YouTube channel?
This was not a political thing. It was calling someone out for being wrong. I don't know what you want. So I responded with 7:44. Now, 7 minutes and 44 seconds in my original video that he's commenting on was the part where I said, I'm going to get so many comments with really dumb fallacies. Specifically because I knew this was going to happen. Not from this guy, just in general. And so I just sent him a timestamp. Oh, so good. Sometimes I come prepared. And then I told him, sorry. Imagine thinking I'm wrong for wanting to help pull people away from a place of extremism. And then he left a bunch of other comments elsewhere, so like it sort of jumps around. Understand that he's just kind of insane. And then we have Retired Colonel. Now, Retired Colonel's been around for a while, so it's kind of a shame that he decided to leave. He says, would you have been as critical if the source was MSNBC? He's talking about my critique of Project Veritas. So MSNBC is not Project Veritas. They do have a little bit more credibility. I do not like MSNBC. I don't think they have a ton of credibility, but it's definitely a different animal. It doesn't really make sense that that would be the argument. It's like, wow, what if it was from this? It doesn't change the facts, my dude, but okay. Your bias serves you poorly and it has cost you a subscriber. Sorry for being right. You're going to attack my argument, attack the argument, not me. That is what is known as an ad hominem fallacy. And Retired Colonel is a nice guy. Like, I don't know what happened. And I'll be happy to have him back if he decides to come back. But, like, we should probably have a talk about this. So I said, yes, I'm no fan of MSNBC. I'm critical because he's wrong and because his early posts are incredibly concerning. And there a bit of other conversation with various people. And then Wolfgar pops in. Oh, Wolfgar.
Project Veritas has never lost a suit. It has a very good record of truth-telling.
No.
Don't expect fairness from Blue Bacon. If you question him, you can expect childish response for having a different opinion.
No, I'm going to be sassy at you because you're an idiot. Project Veritas has lost a lawsuit. I don't know where this guy's coming from. They tried to sue CNN and lost. Very good record of truth-telling there. Oh boy, you can look up articles where they're called out for not telling the truth. That's okay. I wouldn't say a very good record. I'm not articulating how accurate they are, but lie by omission, perhaps. Don't expect fairness. I think you can expect fairness. So I tell him, they sure have, champ, referring to them losing a lawsuit. And he goes,
Give me 3 examples of Project Veritas intentionally misleading their audience. I have 3 from CNN, right off the top of my head.
Yeah, not how that works. I really don't care that much. No. I could. I'm not going to bother. Also, I didn't see this comment until just now, but okay. And the reason I didn't see it because he posted the second comment, and I just ended up skipping past it by accident.
You and Chille have quite a lot in common. Nope, nope, nope.
So I respond, what a fun fallacy again. I hit him with the timestamp a second time. Would you care to be provided with actual evidence, or are you going to ignore that as well? Imagine thinking everyone who disagrees with you is like Chille. And I have more. What an embarrassing thing to post on the internet. And I stand by that remark. It's pretty embarrassing, in my opinion. Wolfgar goes, You going to
delete and edit some more Blue Bacon?
He thinks I'm an agent. I've never been an agent. I was an investigator for an agency, but not an agent. Congratulations on making up things that are wrong about me. It's weird. So, I tell him that. I call him out for fallacies. It goes on and on. His stuff is insane. If you want to see the rest of it, go to the video and go through the comments. There's some nonsense. But now, brace yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Hide your eyes. Take your children out of the room. We're going to my comments that may be offensive and have been hidden from me. So we're going to click that. It even gives me a warning. Yeah, okay, I want it. Possible language.
Okay, Horsey. Being deliberately obtuse may even work on some of the imbeciles you draw, but we know the truth.
I have no idea what most of that means. Horsey? Don't know. Deliberately obtuse? Not what's happening. Just because you don't understand me. Like, if you don't understand me, ask me to simplify things. I'll do it. Imbeciles I draw? Don't understand what that means. We know the truth. Well, we know the truth is that you're really dumb. What else Oh, this one I put on the community post.
Feel bad? Are you okay? I don't expect you to feel anything about what an internet random says to you, unless you are a pathetic vag. I don't know if he meant
a soft G or an F instead of a V. Let's just say vag. He's a bad person. It's that simple. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. The guy's a lunatic. He should not have, no, I'm not going to say he should not have guns. Probably shouldn't have guns. He's the extremist I'm talking about, presumably. This is the guy who lacks common sense and I would argue is dangerous because of their inability to digest information appropriately. But that's the whole thing. I'm not saying we should take his guns away for that. I'm just saying I don't trust him. That's all. Aaron, thanks so much. She says, I know that I can trust one source of news, the weather. Actually tells you that they don't know for sure what will happen by giving stuff a % chance. Hey, fair enough. Fair enough. But anyway, I feel like I answered a few questions. You guys got, it's Tuesday. I'm not going to hold you up. I'm going to get out of here. I need some food in me. I'm hungry. I'm a hungry boy. Maybe I could play some video games on Twitch if you guys want to continue to hang out in a bit. Once I get food in me, let me know. Do we want that? Any of you feeling up for that? I don't know what game yet. We can decide. We play some more Hold Fast. It's the Napoleonic War Simulator. Maybe. I don't know. It's kind of slow. Well, it is a slow-paced game, which means I can interact with you guys more. But I do need to get some food. I was hoping Wolfgar would show up so we could have a conversation, but Wolfgar doesn't want a conversation, which is made very clear by Wolfgar's comments. Twitch it is. All right. Twitch is just Sergeant Blue Bacon. It should be twitch.tv/Sergeant Blue Bacon. SGTBLUEBACON. The escape games are fun. I will have to schedule another round of that. Maybe not with as many people. Having 3 people at once was a lot. 2 felt like a really good amount. Juggalos, don't get me. I actually have a video planned, potentially. I have to do a bunch of research on it, about Juggalos. I know a guy who knew a guy who was a Juggalo, the story's insane. So they have access to a lot of people who know what happened about the insane story. Yeah, I know a guy who knows a guy is not great, but I'm using him to get to the primary sources. But hey, look. So yeah, if you don't want to show up on Twitch, that's fine. I might just pop in for just a little bit after I eat. Just because, heck, why not? Not for necessarily too long, but if you guys are feeling up for it, sure. But let me go get some food. You guys have been amazing. Thanks so much for being here. I know it's like a Tuesday. What are you doing, dude? I just wanted to make sure people could get their questions in, because I was just in the middle of responding to the question, going, heck, why don't I just do this live? Hopefully they get in here. I don't know. Kathy asks, is Twitch just for games? Not necessarily. It's just what I use it for. I like to have a little bit of disconnect between like very different content, and generally games can be very different content, unless it's a police-related game, which case it might show up here. Iceblade, thanks so much, says, just a heads up, if you're located near some of the best nerfers, you are located near some of the best nerfers in the country. If you want some goofy foam flinging fun, ooh, I in fact do. That sounds like a good time. But I'll see you later. Rennie was having dinner. She's mad at me. She's not mad. Maybe she's mad at me. But she was having dinner, and I didn't run this by her. So she didn't show up, and you guys behaved yourselves. Congratulations. Thank you. So I might jump on for just a little bit to keep saying hi to you guys outside of the context of the conversation. Although, of course, if you want to have this conversation still, by all means, I just won't force you into it. So, ladies and gentlemen, until the next time, as per usual, be good, stay safe.